When my best friend sabotaged my birthday party, I smiled through my tears and pretended nothing happened. Days later, I was uncovering a conspiracy that reached into every corner of my marriage. That's when I realized friendship is like a designer purse. Sometimes what looks most authentic is actually the cheapest fake. If you're watching this, hit subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're viewing from. Because trust me, this story has more twists than a mountain road, and you'll want to buckle up for the ride. I always thought birthdays were special, a day when you get to feel celebrated just for existing. For my 45th, I wanted something intimate but elegant. Nothing flashy, just close friends, good food, and the warmth of genuine connection. After all, at my age, you start valuing quality over quantity. My husband Max had insisted on handling the arrangements. "Relax, Olivia," he'd said with that charming smile that still made my heart flutter after 18 years. "This is your day. I want everything to be perfect." I should have known something was off when Veronica arrived an hour early. She'd been my best friend since college. We'd been through everything together. Breakups, career disasters, my parents' deaths, her divorce. She was practically family. "Just wanted to help set up," she chirped, brushing past me in a dress that cost more than my monthly car payment. I noticed how she immediately gravitated toward Max, touching his arm as she laughed at something he said. It bothered me, but I pushed the feeling away. This was Veronica. My rock. My confidant. The party started beautifully. Our backyard transformed with string lights and white roses, my favorites. 30 of our closest friends mingled under the early summer sky. Everything seemed perfect until I noticed Veronica commanding attention in every conversation, somehow making my birthday party revolve around her. "Did you hear about my promotion?" she announced, clinking her glass dramatically. "Regional director. The youngest in company history." I caught Max watching her, his eyes lingering a moment too long. Script part separator equals. Just after dinner, Max stood up, champagne glass in hand. "Everyone, if I could have your attention. I've prepared something special for my beautiful wife." The guests quieted as the lights dimmed. A projector screen lowered from our pergola, a surprise I hadn't anticipated. My heart swelled thinking of the thoughtful montage Max must have created. "A celebration of Olivia," Max announced proudly. 45 amazing years. The first image appeared, me as a toddler with my parents. Then my high school graduation. My wedding day. Beautiful memories flashed by, each one warming my heart. Then suddenly, the images changed. A photo of me passed out at a college party, mouth open unattractively. Then me with terrible 90s hair, in unflattering clothing. Pictures from my awkward phase that should have remained buried. Each worse than the last. The crowd's appreciative murmurs turned to uncomfortable silence. Someone coughed. I felt heat rise to my face as I frantically looked at Max, who appeared just as shocked, fumbling with the laptop connected to the projector. "I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening," he stammered, trying to stop the slideshow. But it continued, growing increasingly mortifying. Photos I didn't even know existed, including one particularly humiliating shot from a beach vacation where my swimsuit had shifted inappropriately. Through my humiliation, I saw Veronica's face. While everyone else looked uncomfortable, she had the faintest smile playing at her lips. When our eyes met, she quickly rearranged her expression to one of concern. Finally, Max managed to shut it down, but the damage was done. The party's joyful atmosphere had evaporated. "Technical difficulties," Max announced weakly. "Let's move on to cake." The rest of the evening passed in a blur. Friends offered sympathetic smiles. Some tried to joke it away. I maintained a brave face, laughing it off as one of those things, but inside I was crumbling. When everyone finally left, I collapsed onto our sofa. "Max, what happened?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. He sat beside me, running his hands through his salt and pepper hair. "I have no idea. The presentation was perfect when I checked it yesterday. Someone must have tampered with it." The pieces clicked together in my mind. Veronica arriving early. Her lingering smile during my humiliation. "Veronica," I said flatly. Max looked surprised. "Your best friend? Why would she do that?" But even as he defended her, something in his expression made my stomach knot. Script part separator equals. I couldn't sleep that night. While Max snored beside me, I kept seeing Veronica's face, that barely concealed smile, while everyone else looked mortified. I slipped out of bed and went to our home office, opening Max's laptop. The password hadn't changed in years. Our wedding anniversary. I found the presentation folder easily enough. Opening the original file, I saw nothing but beautiful memories, tastefully arranged with our song playing in the background. Then I checked the modified dates. The file had been altered just 2 hours before the party, when Veronica had arrived early. The next morning, I called Beth, another friend who'd been at the party. Hey, Beth. Thanks for coming last night. Oh, honey, are you okay? That slideshow was just awful. Did you notice anything strange about Veronica? Beth hesitated. Well, now that you mention it, she was asking a lot of questions about you and Max before you arrived. Weird questions, like whether you two were having problems. My heart pounded. What exactly did she ask? If you guys were fighting. If Max seemed unhappy. Then something about your finances. I thought it was odd, but you know how nosy she can be. I thanked Beth and hung up, my mind racing. Why would Veronica be digging for dirt on my marriage? I decided to confront her directly. No point in dancing around it. I texted, "Coffee? Need to talk about last night." Her response came quickly. "So sorry about that disaster. Meet at Rosewood Cafe. At 2? The cafe was busy when I arrived. Veronica was already there, wearing oversized sunglasses despite the cloudy day, her blonde highlights freshly done. "Olivia," she exclaimed, air-kissing my cheeks. "How are you holding up?" I sat down, studying her face. For 20 years, I'd trusted this woman with everything. Now I felt like I was looking at a stranger. "Why did you do it?" I asked quietly. "Do what?" Her expression was perfect innocence. "Sabotage my birthday slideshow." She laughed, too loudly. "What? That's crazy. Why would I do such a thing?" "That's what I'm trying to figure out. You showed up early. You had access to Max's computer." Her smile faded. "Olivia, you're being paranoid. Maybe Max made a mistake with the files." Script part separator equals. Max doesn't make mistakes like that. He's meticulous, especially with technology. Veronica removed her sunglasses, her eyes cold. "You know what your problem is, Olivia? You can't stand not being the center of attention. One little mishap at your party, and you're looking for someone to blame." "One little mishap?" I leaned forward. "Those photos were deliberately chosen to humiliate me. Maybe they were just showing the real you," she snapped, then immediately composed herself. "I'm sorry. That was uncalled for. I'm just hurt you would accuse me." I noticed how quickly she'd flipped from attack to apology. A familiar manipulation tactic I'd overlooked for years. "We're done here," I said, gathering my purse. As I stood, Veronica grabbed my wrist. "Olivia, wait. You might want to be careful about throwing accusations around. Especially when your own house isn't in order." "What's that supposed to mean?" She smiled, releasing my wrist. "Nothing. Just that glass houses and stones don't mix well." I left the cafe with my heart pounding. That wasn't just a denial, it was a threat. When I got home, Max was in his home office, door closed. I could hear him speaking in hushed tones. He went quiet when I knocked. "Just a minute." Paper shuffled before he opened the door. "Hey, how was coffee?" "Enlightening," I said, watching his face. Veronica denied everything, of course. "Did you really expect her to confess?" He laughed, but it sounded forced. "No, but she said something strange about our house not being in order." "Any idea what that means?" Max's face went blank for a millisecond before he shrugged. "No clue." "You know how she loves being mysterious." "Who are you talking to just now?" "Client call. Boring investment stuff." He kissed my cheek. "I need to finish some work." "Dinner at 7? Script part separator equals. I closed the bedroom door behind me, my mind whirling. Max's business, Stanton Financial Partners, had always seemed successful. But lately, there had been small signs I'd ignored. Canceled vacations. Vague explanations about client meetings. Late nights at the office. That night, I waited until Max was asleep before slipping into his office again. I checked his email first. Nothing unusual. But then I noticed a drawer slightly ajar in his desk. Inside was a stack of bank statements for an account I'd never seen before. The balance was concerning, nearly empty, with large withdrawals over the past 6 months. Where had all that money gone? I took photos of everything with my phone before carefully replacing the statements. The next morning, I called Alex, our family lawyer and my friend since before I met Max. "I need to talk to you privately," I said. "Not at your office." We met at a park across town. Alex listened without interruption as I explained about the party, Veronica, and the hidden bank account. "I hate to ask this," he said finally, "but is there any chance Max and Veronica?" The question I'd been avoiding hit me like a physical blow. "I don't know," I admitted. "But something's definitely wrong." Alex looked troubled. "Olivia, there's something you should know. Max came to see me last week about restructuring some assets. He wanted to know how to transfer property without triggering tax implications. Our house." My voice sounded strange to my own ears. Alex nodded. "I told him I couldn't help with anything that might disadvantage you." I felt dizzy. "You think he's planning to leave me?" "I don't know. But I'd start documenting everything. And maybe check your joint accounts." That afternoon, I visited our bank. The manager, Susan, had handled our accounts for years. "I'm concerned about some unusual activity," I said casually. Susan typed on her computer, then frowned. "Mrs. Stanton, your joint savings account was closed last month." My heart stopped. That's impossible. There was over $200,000 in that account. It was transferred to another account on May 15th. The authorization had both signatures. But I hadn't signed anything. My signature had been forged. I was beyond shocked. I was furious. Whatever game Max and Veronica were playing, they had just made a critical mistake. Script part separator ===. I left the bank feeling like I was in some bizarre alternate reality. The life I thought I had, stable marriage, successful husband, loyal best friend, was disintegrating before my eyes. When I got home, I went straight to our bedroom safe. The jewelry my mother had left me, particularly her diamond tennis bracelet worth at least $15,000, was gone. Max came home at 7, bringing takeout, acting normal, like he hadn't been systematically dismantling our life together. "Hey, honey," he said, kissing my cheek. "Italian okay?" I forced a smile. "Perfect. I've been starving all day." Over dinner, I watched him carefully. This man I'd shared a bed with for 18 years now felt like a stranger. "By the way," I said casually, "I was looking for Mom's tennis bracelet today. Have you seen it?" He paused mid-bite. "The diamond one? I thought you were wearing it at the Hendersons' party last month." A smooth lie. "No, that was my silver one. The diamond bracelet was in our safe." "Maybe you misplaced it?" he suggested. "You know how forgetful you can be." There it was, the subtle gaslighting I now realized had been happening for months, making me doubt my own memory, my own reality. "I'll look again," I said, playing along. After dinner, Max's phone buzzed. He glanced at it and stood up. "I need to make a quick call. Client emergency." The moment he stepped outside, I grabbed his phone. The text was from V with no contact picture. "Did you tell her yet? We need to move faster. Deadline Friday." Friday. 3 days away. Whatever they were planning, I was running out of time. Script part separator ===. I slept in the guest bedroom that night, claiming a headache. In reality, I was plotting my next move. By morning, I had a plan. First stop, Veronica's workplace. She was a marketing executive at Pinnacle Advertising, and I knew her schedule well enough to know she'd be in meetings until noon. Her assistant recognized me immediately. "Mrs. Stanton, Veronica's in a budget meeting." "I know, but she borrowed my laptop for a presentation and needs some files urgently." I flashed my most convincing smile. "She asked me to grab them from her office." The assistant hesitated. "Well, I guess it's okay, since you're her best friend." Veronica's office was immaculate, much like her curated life. I started with her desk drawers. Nothing unusual until I reached the bottom drawer. It was locked. Using a letter opener, I managed to force it open. Inside was a manila folder labeled Exit Strategy. My hands trembled as I opened it. Property listings in Bermuda. Offshore account details. A list of assets, including items from my own home marked with dollar values. And most damning, handwritten notes about distracting O while M finalizes transfers. I photographed everything with shaking hands. As I was replacing the folder, a voice froze me in place. Finding everything you need? Veronica stood in the doorway, arms crossed, her smile cold as winter.
How long?
I asked, standing up straight. How long have you been planning to steal my life? She laughed. Steal your life? Oh, Olivia. I'm just taking what Max offered freely. Why the party sabotage? Why humiliate me publicly? A distraction. She stepped closer. While you were licking your wounds, Max was transferring the last batch of assets. We needed you emotional, not observant. My stomach churned. You won't get away with this. Her smile widened. We already have. By Friday, it's all gone. Including your precious Max script part separator . I felt a rage, so pure, it was almost beautiful. You've been planning this for months, I said. Was any of our friendship real? She leaned against her desk. 20 years is a long time to pretend, Olivia. But Max and I have history that goes back even further.
What are you talking about?
Veronica's smile turned cruel. We dated in college, before he met you. Did he never mention that? He chose you because you were safer, more stable. But he never stopped wanting me. Each word was a knife, but I refused to show pain. I've got evidence of your scheme. Bank records, the forged signatures, your little folder here. For a moment, fear flickered in her eyes. Then she composed herself. Your word against ours. Who do you think people will believe? The desperate, aging wife or the successful businessman and his colleague? She stepped closer. Face it, Olivia. You've lost. I turned to leave, but her words stopped me. Oh, and don't bother going home. Max is changing the locks today. I drove straight to our house, hands shaking so badly, I nearly crashed twice. Sure enough, a locksmith's van was in our driveway. Inside, Max was directing movers to pack certain items. My things were untouched. He froze when he saw me. Olivia, you're supposed to be shopping. Another lie. I'd made no such plans. Changing the locks? I asked, surprising myself with how steady my voice sounded. And moving out selected items. How convenient. I can explain, he started. Save it, I snapped. I know everything. You and Veronica. The missing money. The property transfers. His face hardened. Then you know it's over. My lawyer will contact yours tomorrow. I've been more than generous in the settlement. Generous? You've been systematically stealing from me for months. Script part separator . Max stepped closer, lowering his voice. Be smart about this, Olivia. Take what I'm offering and walk away quietly. Make a scene and you'll get nothing. I nearly slapped him. Instead, I grabbed my car keys from the counter. This isn't over. Where are you going to go? He called after me. Your name isn't on anything anymore. I drove away without answering, tears finally breaking free. My entire life was collapsing, and I had exactly 3 days to stop it. I checked into a hotel using my personal credit card, thankfully, one that Max didn't know about. Then I called Alex. They're moving everything on Friday, I told him. I need to stop them. Alex's voice was grim. This is bigger than I thought. We need to file for an emergency injunction to freeze all assets. But we need evidence. I have photos of documents, forged signatures, the works. Good. Get them to me immediately. And Olivia? Be careful. People who steal this methodically can be dangerous when cornered. After sending Alex everything, I sat on the hotel bed, mind racing. The emergency injunction would help, but it might not be enough. I needed leverage. I scrolled through my contacts, stopping at Craig Williams, a local journalist I'd met at a charity function last year. He'd given me his card, saying I seemed like someone with stories to tell. Craig answered on the third ring. Mrs. Stanton? This is unexpected. I have a story for you. About financial fraud, betrayal, and a very prominent local businessman. He was interested immediately. Max had cultivated quite a reputation in our community. Charitable donations, business awards, mentorship programs. His fall would be newsworthy. But I need more, Craig said. Concrete evidence that goes beyond a marital dispute. That's when I remembered Max's laptop. In my rush to leave, I'd grabbed it from the passenger seat of his car. Force of habit from years of carrying his things. A mistake on his part that might save me. I opened it, but faced a new password screen. My wedding anniversary no longer worked. I tried his birthday. His mother's name. Nothing. Then on a hunch, I tried Veronica's birthday. The screen unlocked. Script part separator equals. What I found made my breath catch. Emails between Max and Veronica going back 3 years. Plans that started as an affair and evolved into something more sinister. Screenshots of my bank accounts. Conversations with offshore bankers. And most damning, evidence that Max had been deaf. Script part separator equals. Owing clients for years, using their investment funds for his personal expenses. The scope of their betrayal was staggering. This wasn't just about our marriage, it was criminal enterprise. People had lost their life savings, retirement funds,
College money for their children.
I forwarded everything to both Alex and Craig, then called Alex again. This changes everything, he said after reviewing the files. This isn't just divorce territory anymore. It's criminal fraud. How fast can we move? Friday's deadline is still coming. I'm filing the emergency injunction now. But we should also contact the FBI. Securities fraud is federal. The next morning, I met with FBI agent Teresa Diaz in a coffee shop 2 towns over. Mrs. Stanton, she said after reviewing my evidence, we've actually had Mr. Stanton's firm on our radar for some months. But we lacked concrete evidence. Well, now you have it. She nodded. We'll move quickly. But I need you to maintain normal behavior. If they suspect you've discovered their scheme and reported it, they'll accelerate their timeline. I finished. I understand. Playing normal was the hardest acting job of my life. I texted Max that I was staying with a friend to process things and asked when we could talk. He responded with vague promises of a conversation soon, clearly stalling until Friday. Meanwhile, I texted Veronica. We should talk. Without Max. Her response was immediate. Ritz Bar, 7 p.m. tonight. The trap was set. Script part separator equals. Script part separator equals. I arrived at the Ritz Bar early, selecting a corner table with my back to the wall. I'd worn a wire at Agent Diaz's request. My purse held my phone, set to record. Veronica arrived exactly on time, looking spectacular in a red dress that probably cost more than most people's monthly salary. Thanks for meeting me, I said as she sat down. She signaled the waiter. Martini, extra dry. She turned to me. What's there to talk about? It's over, Olivia. I just want to understand. 20 years of friendship thrown away for what?
Money?
She laughed. Not just money. Freedom.
Adventure.
Passion. All the things you and Max lost years ago. So, this was revenge for me supposedly taking him from you in college? Her smile faltered. He told you about that? I kept my face neutral.
You did, actually.
Yesterday.
Right.
Well, ancient history now. The point is, Max and I reconnected, and the spark was still there. Then we realized we could help each other. Help each other steal from innocent people, I said quietly. Veronica leaned forward. The investors?
Please.
Rich people gambling with money they won't miss. Like the Petersons? Their daughter's college fund? Or the Whitakers' retirement? Her eyes narrowed. How do you know about them? I smiled. I know everything, Veronica. About the offshore accounts. The shell companies. The client funds Max diverted. She paled slightly. You're bluffing. Script part separator equals. Script part separator equals. I pulled out my phone, showing her one of Max's emails. This is just one of hundreds I've found. She grabbed the phone, scrolling frantically. Where did you get these?
Max laptop.
Careless of him to leave it where I could find it. Her hand trembled as she returned my phone. What do you want? To understand why. The money I get. But the party humiliation? The calculated betrayal? Veronica's facade cracked. Because you had everything handed to you.
She hissed.
The perfect husband. The beautiful house. The charmed life. You never had to fight for anything. I clawed my way up from nothing while you coasted on Max's success. That's what this is about. Jealousy? She laughed bitterly. Call it justice. Max was mine first. I'm just reclaiming what should have been mine all along. And the client's money? Is that yours too? Collateral damage. She shrugged, regaining her composure. Anyway, it doesn't matter what you know. By Friday, we'll be gone. New identities, new country, new life. I need to use the ladies' room, I said, standing up. When I return, I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen next. As I walked away, I saw her pull out her phone, frantically texting.
Perfect.
The trap was working. Script part separator equals. In the bathroom, I quickly texted Agent Diaz. She's contacting Max now. Get ready. When I returned, Veronica was finishing a phone call. Her smug smile told me everything. Max is meeting us here, she said. We think it's time for a direct conversation. Perfect, I replied calmly. 20 minutes later, Max strode into the bar, looking confident in his tailored suit. The confident look faltered when he saw my composed demeanor. Olivia, he said, sitting down. This melodrama needs to end. I agree. That's why I've invited some others to join us. On cue, Agent Diaz appeared with 2 other agents. Mr. Stanton, Ms. Reynolds, I'm Agent Diaz with the FBI. We need you to come with us. The color drained from Max's face. What is this? Securities fraud, money laundering, theft, conspiracy. Diaz listed calmly. We have enough evidence for multiple felony charges. Veronica's eyes darted toward the exit. This is ridiculous.
She sputtered.
I smiled. Remember what you said about my house not being in order? Well, I've done some cleaning. As the agents led them away, Max turned to me, his face a mask of hatred. You'll regret this. When I get out. If you get out, I corrected him. The minimum sentence is 15 years. Script part separator equals. As they disappeared through the hotel lobby, a weight lifted from my shoulders. But the fight wasn't over yet. Their Friday deadline still loomed. Whatever final transfers they had planned could still happen automatically. Back at my hotel, Alex called with updates. The judge granted our emergency injunction. All accounts frozen. The FBI raid on Max's office uncovered even more evidence. What about the house? Our assets? That's the complicated part, Alex said. Some transfers were already completed. We'll need to fight to claw those back. I spent the next day meeting with forensic accountants and federal prosecutors, piecing together the elaborate scheme. The betrayal ran deeper than I'd imagined. Max hadn't just been stealing from clients. He'd been building this exit plan for years, moving assets incrementally to avoid detection. Mrs. Stanton, the lead prosecutor, said during our meeting, we're preparing charges that could put both of them away for decades. But we need your full cooperation. You have it, I assured him. What they wanted was simple. My story, publicly told. A warning to others about financial fraud disguised as legitimate investment. Max and Veronica had hurt dozens of families beyond just me. Channel 7 wants an exclusive, the prosecutor explained. Their financial crime segment. It would air the night before the preliminary hearing. I hesitated. Public humiliation had been Veronica's weapon against me. Now I was considering using the same tactic. These people deserve to know what happened to their money, Agent Diaz said gently. You can help them understand. I thought about the Petersons, whose daughter's college fund vanished. The elderly Whitakers, whose retirement was in shambles.
I'll do it, I said.
On one condition, I want them to watch. Thursday night, I sat in the Channel 7 studio, Microphone clipped to my blouse, hands folded in my lap. Across from me, veteran anchor Maria Collins looked at her notes. "Mrs. Stanton, are you ready?" she asked kindly. I nodded, glancing at the monitor showing the holding room where Max and Veronica sat watching, flanked by agents. The prosecutor had arranged this viewing as part of a strategy to assess their reactions before tomorrow's hearing. "We're live in 3, 2. The cameraman pointed silently. "Good evening.
I'm Maria Collins.
Tonight, an exclusive interview with Olivia Stanton, whose husband's investment firm is at the center of a massive fraud investigation. Mrs. Stanton, thank you for being here." I took a deep breath. "Thank you for having me. Let's start at the beginning. When did you first suspect something was wrong?" "At my birthday party," I said, my voice stronger than I expected. "When my best friend of 20 years deliberately humiliated me to create a distraction while my husband transferred the last of our assets offshore." For the next 30 minutes, I laid out the entire scheme. The betrayal, the stolen client funds, the elaborate escape plan. I described finding the evidence, contacting authorities, and the arrests. "What would you say to the families who lost their savings?" Maria asked. I looked directly into the camera. "I'm fighting to get your money back. Every penny. And I won't stop until justice is served." When Maria asked about forgiveness, I smiled. "Some betrayals can't be forgiven, but they can teach us." I learned that I'm stronger than I knew, smarter than they believed, and that justice, when it comes, is sweeter than revenge. The camera panned to the monitor showing Max and Veronica. Their faces twisted with rage as they realized their empire wasn't just crumbling, it was being demolished on live television. "Any final words for your husband and former best friend?" Maria asked. I looked directly at the monitor, knowing they could see me. "Enjoy prison. I'll be living in our house, which, thanks to their sloppy paperwork, remains legally mine." Sometimes, karma works perfectly.